My name is Michael Brew, Adobe Certified Expert and Certified Instructor in InDesign. We talk about Part 2. The prerequisite for this particular class is a basic understanding of InDesign that you would have gained if you took the Part 1 class. Lesson 1 is talking about those e-publications. We talk about how we can build an e-publication document, which includes alternate layouts, whether it's going to be seen portrait or landscape, and also how we can anchor objects. We want to make sure that the logo, whether it's portrait or landscape, stays up in the upper left-hand corner, so we use anchors. We also want to see, as we change the layout of the document, how we can create fluid design so that the section actually reflows to fill up the screen. We talk about e-publication and the interesting aspects that go along with an e-publication, and how InDesign can prepare for publishing out to that e-publication. Lesson 2 is managing advanced page elements. We start off with repeating content, and we look at the new tools inside of InDesign, the collector tool and the placer tool. Now that we've got the multiple elements, it may be that we want to put them all together inside of a library. We can see how the INDL file can take those assets that we need for multiple documents and put them all together. We also look at colors and swatches and gradients in an advanced form, how we can use text layout and also use transparency and special effects inside of our document. Lesson 3 continues on our discussion from Part 1 of the many ways you can use styles inside of a document. We look at how we can import the Word document and bring in the styles from Word. Also how we can bring in grep styles. We see how styles can be nested, repeated. We see how styles can be used in different sections of the document. We can use repeating styles so that if we have a title style, and then we have a first paragraph style, and then every other paragraph, as many paragraphs are in a particular story, all follow the same styles. So as we go from story to story, we can repeat the style, getting the titles to look the same, getting the first paragraphs to look the same, getting the continuing paragraphs after that first paragraph, all so that they lay out. So as we're getting ready for a longer document, a document that might have a table of contents, have chapters, have indexing, different tables of authorities, as we're getting ready for the long document, our styles will be consistent from different chapter to different chapter. Lesson 4 has to do with paths, how we can use paths inside of InDesign. Whether it's taking text that follows along a path, or the path is being used to mask out different objects, masking out backgrounds. That path may be coming in from your imported picture, so using those paths that you may have created inside of Photoshop or a photo editing program, or creating our own Bezier paths inside of the document so that we mask out areas we don't want to see. We can also work with some offsets which will allow us to make sure that there's enough white space between the writing of the document and the actual image itself. Lesson 5 is managing our external files, how we can take content from outside of InDesign and link to it. We also look at data sets, kind of like a mail merge inside of a Microsoft program, where our content is actually coming outside of InDesign. Maybe it is that you're creating for yourself a list inside of Excel. Let's say we're putting together a graduation announcement, and the graduates aren't going to be known until the night before. And we'll put those graduates inside of an Excel spreadsheet. So we link up to that data source. We make sure that that data set comes inside of our InDesign document, maybe just before it goes to press, indicating those people that are on the Honor Society, those people who made the Dean list, those people who are graduating with special honors. Things that are only known in the data set which are merged inside of our InDesign document. Lesson 6 talks about working with dynamic documents, how we can section up a document and each section has its own properties, how we can go in and we can create text variables, whether it's the chapter name, whether it is the page number that comes in on the master page. Having those text variables help us to set up the longer document. Then also making it so that long document has different parts and pieces, the dynamic elements like moving text, pictures that come in from outside of the document and come in, or a boat that drops an anchor. When you think of all the transition and effects that dynamic documents have, InDesign now uses those transitions and those effects so that your electronic document is not static but dynamic. Lesson 7 deals with a long document. It works with the book section of InDesign. Maybe each chapter is a different InDesign document, and each chapter is created from a different person. Each person has their own idea of how that chapter should look. Well, inside of the book panel of InDesign, those chapters can be imported in. You can set one document as being the style master, and each other document conforms to that style. So if people have used different fonts, different sizes, different colors, those fonts, sizes, and colors can conform to the master. We also deal with how to create for ourselves a dynamic table of contents. So as people have indicated table of contents entries by the styles that they've used, that they all can come together in a table of contents. We also talk about table of authorities and how to build an index. We work with hyperlinks, we work with cross-references, and the panels that go along with it, so that the see alsos, the see herein's, all come together within our index to create that dynamic index as it goes from document to document. We focus in on the book panel within this lesson. Lesson 8 is publishing our document out. Publishing out for print and all the aspects that go into setting it up for a printer service provider. Setting it up so that we can send it out as a PDF. So it's all contained together with security within the PDF document, whether it's going to the printer service provider or going out as a general publication as a PDF. We also see how we can publish out with all the animations that we created within our document, making sure those object states, the transitions, the effects, all are contained within the document, and when the person receives the document, it animates correctly. And then finally, we publish out to the web, seeing how we can optimize the document down for the fastest speed, and that the slices and the SWIFT files all work together well as we put it out to the web. Our final chapter looks at managing the print document, managing it so that the colors move from our InDesign document to being true when we actually publish it out. We look at the print process, how that a document is printed, and how InDesign can make it so that that print comes true to color. We see the different settings you can use inside of InDesign that can help your printer service provider print the document to your specifications. This has been Michael Brew talking to you about InDesign Part 2. If you have any further questions, contact your account executive or career consultant, which can help you out with those additional questions about InDesign. We hope to see you in class.